How's it going, folks? My name is Sean, and I'm here at Big Nerd Studios, and this is video number 1. Today I wanted to talk about one of the new plugins I've been using the last few days. It's Spitfire Audio's brand new BBC Orchestra Discovery plugin. It's an intro to the multi-instrumental orchestral plugins that they have. They've got the Albion. They have a couple of other plugins that they used the BBC Orchestra to create the core and the professional, and the quality of these instruments are just outstanding. It's a multi-piece, multi-player, multi-sectional plugin with brass, woodwinds, strings, percussion, and everything's recorded as it sits on the stage. So you've got your horns over here on the left and the back, the other horns, trombones, tubas over here, you got your strings kind of set up in the front, and woodwinds behind that, percussion in the back and the middle. So it's just a really great plugin. It's $49 if you can afford to pay, and most of that goes towards royalties for the actual musicians who performed on the plugin recordings. Or if you can't afford it, like I'm trying to build a studio, so a lot of my funds went to microphones, controllers, saw other software that I needed, Logic Pro, for example. So I unfortunately took advantage of their free program where you sign up, wait 2 weeks, and they give you the plugin, and I'm extremely grateful. And I'll get some Spitfire stuff whenever I can afford it. I really like the Albion strings. Really some good stuff there. But hopefully in the meantime, this will get a little bit of the word out for other folks who can't afford it. Maybe that's a little bit of a compensation for it. So here's the homepage for the Spitfire Audio Discover. I know it's a Discovery back there, but Discover. Today was a big space day. Elon Musk put more people in space, so good for him. So strings, brass, woodwinds, percussions. Here you can kind of see what it looks like in the organizational sections. There's technique lists, so you get your spiccatos, staccatos, pizzicatos, longs, all these different play styles. You get dynamic expression controls to really make it feel like you're really playing the instrument, even though I'm a guitar player. So yeah, this is the homepage. As you can see, $49, or it's free. And see, I've already applied, but you go here, you sign up, you tell them what you're trying to do, why you want it, and wait for a couple of weeks, and then they'll send you a free copy. And it's a great program for getting folks into doing orchestral arrangements. So let's go into Logic Pro, and let's see if we can come up with some sounds. So as you can see here, I've got all my different instances. So I've got, this is my trumpet section. So as you can see down there, I'm playing a note that's not in the normal registry of the trumpets. It's very organically accurate. So I need to come change my great trumpet sound. So little 2001 Space Odyssey there for y'all. So as you can see over here, I have the ability in this iPad, you can see in my hand cam, I'm able to control the dynamic and expression controls. Really gives the composer, the writer, the ability to really put some feeling into the notes. So it's a really great Really great extra set of controls that you can do. I've got some reverb here. I think it's reverb. Yeah, it's reverb. So here's the other placed off of the trumpets. So you can see it's a more short percussive play style, and it has its own characteristics. Now let's go to the trombones. And what's really cool about the way they recorded these instruments is they were able to program the ability for the notes to sound different and better or worse depending on the specific portion of the register that they're playing in. So instruments will share actual pitch of certain notes. So basses will share some note with cello, cello with viola, viola with violin 2, violin 2 with violin 1. But those notes aren't always going to sound the best. So playing an instrument in the register that it's supposed to be played in makes it sound better, makes it sound accurate. So let's go to the bass, for example. So as you can see, I've got long, spiccato, and pizzicato. So I got to go way down. So that's a note on the bass scale that is shared with the cello. But the bass really starts to sound good when you start getting lower. And you can really start to hear those timbres really come out strong. Let's go to the cello. Cellos are my favorite. I wish I could play the cellos. So cellos, we have long, spiccato, pizzicato, and we have a tremolo system. So let's go listen to some of those. Pizzicato or spiccato. Short, sweet, to the point notes. Pizzicato. So more of a plucking style, and then the tremolo. So you can really hear the bows getting into it. But as you can hear here, that's a note that's out of the normal range, the preferred range of the cello. That's in bass territory. All right, sounds good. That just sounds so rich. I got a little loud there, but it just sounds so good. All right, let's go to the violas next. So again, they have long, spiccato, pizzicato, and tremolo. Just such a great sound. Let's come up here to some of the brass. Back to the brass. Let's swap it to, let's listen to some of the woodwinds. So piccolo, as you can see, that's really high. You can actually hear the wind, the air being moved by the player. Next we got the flute, A3. Oboe. Clarinet. This is what my son plays. And then bassoons. So BBC, the plugin was arranged and designed less to be more played like an ensemble plugin where you're just playing big giant chords, and more for playing individual parts like a normal orchestra would be arranged and written for. So, for example, you may have an overlaying melody of, say, let's go to the piano. So here's my basic piano. Right, basic piano. So you may have a song that's doing the 4-chord song, you know. Okay, so you may have something written around that. In an orchestral piece, you're not going to have everybody playing the same notes and the same chords in the same way. So you got your one, minor third, going down to that G, then back to the D. Oop, had to flatten that note for a second. But anyway, you're not going to have your instruments being played in the same intervals. You're going to have different parts being played differently, and they'll come together and they'll sound nice, but it's not going to be, think of it as and I'm stealing this from the guy from Spitfire Audio, actually. Imagine all the parts being written as individual parts that make up the whole. So your bass may have a walking line in the proper key that doesn't necessarily follow every single note of the cello. Cello has a part that doesn't necessarily follow every note of the bass or the viola, so on and so forth. But when you put it all together, the 3 or 4 instruments make the chord that you're trying to hit. So the minimum you need for a chord to sound major or minor is your third. So your minor versus your major. Happy, sad, right? So you may have your bass playing your root note. You may have your cello playing your major, minor, third, and then you may have a viola playing the fifth. And who says that you have to have? Again, I'm stealing this. Who says you have to have your root note be in the bass? So there's your D. There's your A, but I got the D flat in the bass. There's your B minor, but I've got the D in the bass. And there's your G major, but again, I got the D in the bass. So there it is. So you get the point. You don't have to have the root note and the bass note. You can mix and match. As long as it sounds good, there's no wrong way to do it. So, all right, let's see if we can put something together with all the parts that we have. So I've got bass, cello, viola, violin 2, violin 1. I don't know why I have a second violin. Let's remove that real fast. All right. So my time signature is 3/4 at 144 beats. So let's see what we can come up with. Turn my click on. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. so that wasn't too bad. Let's see. All right, now let's get a cello part in there. So here's where the dynamic control is going to come into play, because I don't want to necessarily overpower or overshadow, but I want to complement. All right. Let's turn the click off. And turn it back on. All right. So it wasn't too bad. Came in a little late, but that's okay. So let's go. Let's take this note. Let's go edit this one just to make it more, extend that note out. All right, so we've got a cello part, we got a viola part. Usually violas and cellos, a lot of times they play the same thing. So we're gonna come down here and we're gonna paste it in. But because those notes are in that specific section, I need to move them up a little bit. So we're going to move everything up to that. So now, it sounds like this. So it's starting to sound pretty full. Let's add another viola section just for grins, and let's play something that is an accompaniment to the other viola part. So let me turn my click back on. Go capture that. See how that sounds. All right, sound pretty good. I'm going to tune everything down, turn everything down a little bit. All right, violin 2. So violin 2s are the upper end, but they still don't play the highest notes in the group. So they hold down kind of the roots for the violin 1s, which play the highest notes. So let's find something for them. So we're going to stay in that area. Now, violin 1. Violin 1's kind of your melody, so it's going to stick out a little bit more. So we're going to play the highest notes on that. Make sure to change it to longs. Alright, let's see what we can come up with here. Alright. So, as you can see, we've pieced all these parts together. Very crude, very rudimentary, but this is what you kind of do whenever you're building parts. You play parts that accompany each other and make each of the other parts sound better. And from a holistic perspective, you have your whole palette of sounds. Now this is just longs. I'm still learning how to do this. I haven't quite mastered turning happy little accidents into birds, but this isn't too bad. So, as you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 instruments working together to create about a 10-15 second piece. So, just imagine how long it would take, but how awesome it would be when you had 3, 4, 5, 6, 15, 30 minutes worth of music and all the different parts and the drums. Oh, we didn't go over the drums, the percussion section. Let's go take a look at that just for grins. So, harp. Timpani. Ooh, very specific section. Untuned percussion. It's awesome. Celeste. Tubular bells. Very Christmassy. Marimba. Xylophone. Glockenspiel. All right, so I think we've touched on most of the instruments tonight. It's been about 30 minutes or so. But I just wanted to show my appreciation to Spitfire Audio and the BBC Orchestra for putting something for mere mortals to be able to experience what good string plugin sounds like at an affordable cost. If I had the ability, I'd go back and I'd pay $49 for it in a heartbeat. It's totally worth it. Totally worth the $49. It's actually worth probably $100, $150. And you also get a discount if you get Discover and you want to go to the Core, which there's a whole video of the guy who runs Spitfire Audio, and it says if he was starting over and only had one plugin to buy for strings, the core would be the one that he would buy because it has the most bang for the buck. All the play styles, all the instruments that you want. It's got a couple of different audio routing pieces. Um, totally ready for, in his words, broadcast quality. Ready for TV. Ready for scoring for games or for TV shows, commercials, things like that. But Discover, it it's dipping your toe in the water a little bit, and I really appreciate what Spitfire's done for people starting out in this industry, in the studio space. I appreciate the musicians at the BBC Orchestra for taking the time to do this. I know it takes a lot of time to do this. I wish I could make music for 100% for my living, but we're working on that. So yeah, if y'all have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to try to answer them. I don't have all the answers, but I might know a guy. So yeah, this is Sean from Big Nerd Studios signing off. Y'all have a good evening.